Yes.
When we look, we will see, especially this will happen only one day after we miss the sign symptom internally. For example, yesterday he ate too much bean at lunch, right? If he pay attention and he's sensitive or he learned this before, he will recognize right away after he finished his lunch, the stomach will feel uncomfortable, the belly will be distended, the gut build up. And after that, right away, he feel the tingling in his chin. It has some feeling different. If we not pay attention to that, that symptom will pass, it go deeper, and now it reflects on this area. The next day, you will feel the hardness or sometimes the pinpoint coming out. If we have a constipation for more than 2 days, we see it coming out. Sometimes a boy, sometimes have too many, not only at the chin area, but the lip area and the both sides of our nose. If we had a stomach, our stomach on the left, right? Our stomach on the left, the pancreas will be on the left. So if we have any problem with our stomach, we will see on the left side of our nose, it will have some void or some pain area. If we have indigestion caused by the liver and gallbladder, we will see on the right side. And if we have any problem with the intestinal, the small and the large intestine, we will see the problem with the lip area, constipation, urinary tract infection, or any bladder problem, we see at the end, the bottom of our chin. Sometimes it reflects on the top, that means on our forehead. So it flips opposite. We will learn later on, not only this chin and lip area responsible for the lower digestive system, it's also responsible for the urinary tract. It's also responsible for the uterus for female. So how can we classify or identify the core problem in which organ? It's very easy because we are learning mindfulness. Listen to our body. When you see the pain in this area and we see the belly distension, and we remember yesterday we did something wrong, we did something new, we did something too much. Maybe you see we will remember, we urinate too much, I have a burning sensation, I have the feeling of very heavy belly for the last few days in the uterus. The first thing we can do, this is not only the place for diagnosis, it's only a place for correct. We just simulate on that point, on that area. That means we help it to rebalance or correct itself, and automatically it will follow the water all the way flow to the lower area, the lower place. For example, you are taking the antibiotic for upper respiratory tract infection. for the duration of 10 days or 2 weeks. During that period of time, and you walk and you hit your toe into the door, and it have the toenail infection. At that time, even though you're not taking any other antibiotic, but if that bacteria called infection at your toe will be in the range, in the spectrum of the antibiotic treatment for the upper respiratory infection, the antibiotic will flow all in your body, but it just gets target in the upper respiratory tract infection and at the toe only. It not go to anywhere. The same thing in here. Our body much more smarter. It's very intelligent and it knows how to rebalance and correct itself when it have a support system or it have some other medicinal support or the stimulation support. So when we use this area to make diagnosis, and after that we stimulate the same point, the same area, it can help for rebalance, recorrect itself. So that is the first thing we do before we touch to wash our face. And all of the area on our face is responsible, as I told you, not only the digestive system, it can responsible for the outside, the muscular, skeletal muscular. If we have a shoulder pain, the head or the neck, the leg or the thigh, the spinal, you will see, for example, if we had our shoulder pain, we will see on top of our eyebrow will pain, and it has some bump or hardened area, so we just massage, right? If we see our nose had a problem, that not only localized at the nose problem, but also in our back it has something wrong. And it also has another reflective system on our forehead. See, this is the bust up. This is our trunk, spinal cord. This is our shoulder, the arm, hand, thigh, knee, and our feet. And this is our face on our ear area. Another reflective system on a side of our cheek. And this is the heart. It can reflect the whole face, or it can reflect on our nose only. So when we see our nose had a problem, it turns red. That means it has some blockage in the aorta. When it see it distends, that means okay, it has some distension in our heart. And this one for our brain cell. This is for the reproductive organ. On the left, on the right, you will see this is for male. On the left, that is for female. So that's why after we examine our forehead, our cheek, nose, lip area and the chin area, the next step, that means we use our index finger to examine to see any pain point, any bump up area, because sometimes it don't have a pain feeling, but it have a bumping area. So that indicates for something gets stuck in our body too. Alright, so not only pain is one indication, but sometimes it gets stuck and it bump up, and we see it have a feeling of bumping. And then after we examine by the index finger the whole face area, now we start to look at the area, the lower eyelid. For female, this is correlate to the fallopian tube, the egg productive, and it connects to the uterus. So if you see the lower eyelid, it turns blue, purple, or dark color, or it's a little bit detented. That means we have some detention or some blockage in the fallopian tube, in the reproductive organ. If you have any painful in the nose, in the lip, or in the chin, it's responsible for the uterus. When you have a irregular period, when the hormone is not flow evenly, something like that. For male, this is a testing. So when you have the same sign symptom, the lower eyelid, it turn blue, it purple blue, or it's a little bit distant. That means we had a problem with the prostate. The prostate is enlarged. When we have a kidney stone, when we have a urinary tract infection, it will respond on this area too. And then our extremity also reflect on our face. This is the hand, and the inside, and if we flip over, we can see it reflect for the internal, the nerve and all the meridian on our face, responsible for the hand and for the extremity too. I show you on this one, so we know that on the central nervous system on our head, it connects to every single part of our body, so it's easy to diagnose and treatment, because more than 70% of the illness today responsible by the nerve system disorder, because we are living in too stressful area. We are being stimulated continually by the electromagnetic field surrounding us, and then the burden of all the toxin in the food, in the environment. Okay, so that's the first on the face, on the forehead, eyebrow, nose, cheek, lip area, chin. Now we go a little bit more deeper. When we look at the when we look into the mirror and we look in our eyes, the eyes, we see the color of the white area. It's totally white, and if we look on our skin and it's kind of very pinkish or really light color, and the lip very pinkish light color, that have an indication for anemic. If the color of the white area is become reddish, that means we had a problem with our liver. We easily get angry, upset, something like that. But if it becomes chronic, we get angry too often, we eat addictive stimulant, we have the problem with indigestion too often, but we not pay attention to that. And now the liver and the gallbladder go hand in hand. Now when the liver has a problem, the gallbladder will be abnormal, and then the bile acid become abnormal. So now we will see it turn out the yellow color, not only in the white area of our eye, but sometimes our skin. If not, sometimes we can detect that by the lab when we see the bilirubin level, the direct or indirect, abnormal. But 75 to 85%, definitely I bet you the doctor cannot find anything wrong because the lab result normal from the top to the bottom. But you look at the patient, you will see totally different color, but it already had an abnormal inside already. So too white color, that is no good. Reddish color, that means acute. Yellow color, that means chronic. And then the size of the pupil, the smaller the weaker. And you see the young children, young baby, it have a big eye, right? So that means it's very healthy, very sensitive. So when we get older, especially for people don't have enough heat, it have an obstruction, the kidney weak, the liver weak, and the pupil size becomes smaller. When the pupil size becomes smaller, the white area becomes bigger, right? But when we have only two white area on the left and on the right, that's acceptable. But when this one a little bit difficult for you to see yourself, but for the other person look at you, it's easier because you need to look up. You need to look up, and if the white area below that become bigger, that means you have a very severe chronic condition, very weak, very abnormal internally. In that case, we need to be careful and correct diet, sleeping, or lifestyle to correct that one. Otherwise, when it happens like that, our immune system really weak, our nerve system very weak, and the defensive, the reaction is very slow. And when that happens, our body totally in the very negative state, and according to the life extract alive, all of the bad thing, the bad karma in our life or in the environment will be attracted. That's why we will encounter all the unexpected things, all the unhappiness, all the sad things, if we not know how to recognize and transform it. The same thing when you see, when you are healthy and when you are happy, you will see all the happy people, you have a lucky event. But when we are unhappy, when we have an unexpected thing, and if we don't know, how to recognize and transform that, we encounter it continuously because life extracted our life. Okay, and now we go down to, we already talking about the lower eyelid and the lower eye area down here. You see, when you are so tired, you have insomnia, you are so weakness, that this area, it will be distended and it change to the fluid color. That's another indication. Sometimes it's just overnight, sometimes it takes a few days to few weeks. And now we look into our nostril. Look up a little bit, we will see the mucous membrane in here. You see it moisture or not? It have any cracker? It have any polyp? It have too much discharge or no? It have the red color or the pinkish color? Supposed to be perfectly. It have a moisture. It's pinkish color and clear. If we see too much discharge coming out, running nose or get stuck, or the polyp, or too red color, or that is abnormal. And then we look at the border of our teeth, our lip. I don't know how many of you have herpes simplex. You know that one? What we call the cold sore. Yeah. When we have a single and it go into our nerve cells, split for 10 or 15 years, and then whenever our immune system going down, whenever we are under stress, it's coming out right away next few days. So if we encounter that one time, we should stop it. Otherwise, it will come out all the time, 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 times a year at least, especially for women. We are very sensitive to the stress, and it's coming out very regularly. Pay attention when you cannot go to sleep one night, when you're under stress for 1 or 2 days, you will have the feeling of tingling. If you examine it on a daily basis like this, you will prevent it right away. But if you miss that, the sooner the better. When you have the feeling of tingling, take vitamin C. If you want to shut it down, if you don't want to use any rub, you have to rest as much as possible. Drink warm water, drink more lemon juice, orange juice, apple juice. That means it needs vitamin C. to boost up your immune system, to relax your nerve, the nerve cell, and then the body have an opportunity to detox. If you want to shut it down right away, you can take vitamin C up to 1500 to 2 grams a day in the morning. As soon as you recognize the tingling feeling, you take it. It will shut down and the virus no longer can come out. If you recognize it too late, and you take the medication, the vitamins right away, and you rest more, it may come out, but it just retreat in 2 or 3 days, maximum in 5 days. Otherwise, it will take about 10 days to 2 weeks, and it spread out very painful. Alright, now we look one more time before we go inside our mouth. You will see sometimes, especially for women, you have some tiny pinpoint along the eyelid, along the border of the lid. It's not painful. It looks like about 1 and 1.5 millimeter size of the boil like the fatty acid. That means you have abnormal of the fatty acid caused by the liver abnormal. So in that case, we need to eat more green stuff, more vegetable or fruit have vitamin C, and we need to massage our face more regularly to let all of that obstruction be cleared up. Sometimes only about 5 or 7, sometimes more than 50 or 20 along the lower eyelid and along the border of our lid. Now go inside. When you go inside, when you eat ice cream, you drink a lot of cold ice water or spicy. Sometimes you have inside what they call canker sore. The bump about 3 to 4 to 5 millimeter size, about half of the moonbeam. It's white color, very painful. That is the indication of the overheat and the toxin accumulated in your upper digestive tract, the liver and the gallbladder, the stomach. Very painful.
Is an infection that then is spread everywhere in the mouth?
That's not infection. That's just the very small, about the 3 to 5 millimeter.
Do you have more than one inside?
Yeah, more than one.
And it's
about,
painful and
yeah, it's about sometimes 3 or 4 or 5. It's very painful spot. So that's not the real infection. That's just the overheat and the accumulated of toxin. So you can use moonbeam, the fresh one, the fresh one, okay, not cooked, and you chew it. You chew it and you suck the juice and you leave the fiber right in that spot few times a day. It will have to release the heat and extract the toxin out. Now we go to the tongue. If we I didn't have all the picture here yet, but if we see, usually in the morning we have a very thin light white color and moisture. That is normal, good. If we see our tongue totally dry, that is overheat, or we don't have enough water, dehydration. If the cover is too thick, that means we had a problem. Now depend on the color, we will identify which organ, which part of our body had a problem. If it have a yellow color, that means we had a problem with our liver or spleen. If it have a white color, it have a problem with our respiratory tract, the lung and the throat. If it have a red color, it has a problem with our cardiovascular disease, especially our heart. If it have a red purple color, that means both respiratory and the cardiovascular, because it's hand in hand. When the heart has to work harder because the lung not breathe appropriately, so that is hand in hand and chronic. Now it becomes two together, so it becomes red purple. And now when it turns to dark color, brown or black, that means we are in very severe condition, the kidney. So whenever we see the layer, the cover outlet is too thick, that is no good. And depend on the color, we will know which organ, and we need to go and correct that one. Especially for young children, sometimes it have a fungus on the tongue. It's caused by the milk, or because the digestive system not work properly, and the pH in the blood is too acidic. So the candida, the fungus in the GI tract, it develop and it go up and on the tongue. We usually use honey or lemon with table salt to help to clear all of that fungal infection. To treat that problem internally, we need to use the apple cider vinegar, or we eat anything to make our blood become more alkaline, and don't eat or drink anything too cold, too yin. Alright, let me see. We have the forehead, the eyebrow, nose, cheek, lip area, chin, ear area, the purple, white eyelid, eyebrow, nose, mouth, lip. Alright, now we go to only 2 more minutes. We go real quick for the body area, and then we will go deeper tonight or tomorrow about other parts on the endocrine. we have some very important gland for the endocrine, the pituitary and hypothalamus. Very important for general. For women, thyroid gland and the uterus. This is the main organ to secrete the hormone for female body. And another one very important, renal gland on the top of our kidney. So that's why after we meditate, we have energy high, our heat, our electromagnetic very concentrate. We usually rub in our back to stimulate the adrenal gland, because you know everything you have a problem, the doctor cannot identify what they give you, steroid, right? So the steroid is the drug for everything, but the side effect is too terrible. Now, if we stimulate this gland, it will automatically secrete the steroid for your body perfectly. The other gland, that is thymus gland on the upper chest. When we rub, or we can use the 3 finger, stimulate it every day. It will help to boost up our immune system. Okay, because this is the headquarters of the immune system, especially the lymphatic system.
What was that? What did you call the headquarters?
Thymus gland.
Thymus.
Yeah. And then when we go to have a shower or we have a bath, we need to check our skin to see, because especially women, sometimes you see you have a blue or fluid or dark purple area on your skin, because that is bleeding. Most of the time it's caused by unknown, but once in a while you go and you hit something unconsciously and it becomes bleeding and it turns out that color. But most of the time, because the blood vessel wall is too thin, it's low vitamin C, too stressful, and then it bursts out, it leaks. So it turns out it have that color. When you see you have that a lot, you need to take more vitamin C. Exercise more to let the blood vessel will become more flexible, more durable. And the abdominal area and the chest or the breast area, especially for women, because that's the area where you have a lot of fat tissue, and also in the breast area it have the duct or the milk production system, so a lot of cavity in here. So when the hormone abnormal or when you are under stress, it will have what we call the internal formation knot. It will block the way of the energy flow. And usually in this area, the fat tissue, the lymphatic system cannot penetrate in that to discover or to destroy any abnormal building up. we will talk more deeply about mechanism of cancer or abnormal growth of cells leading to abnormal tumor or cancer. But generally, why women usually have the breast cancer or uterus cancer, because this is the area be blocked when the hormone not flow evenly. So when you have a shower, you should rub the area of the lower abdominal, or when before sleep you lay flat, okay, and you massage this area. When you have a shower, you know, usually about 40 year old, you have a mammogram, and the doctor show you how to do the exam and how to massage to let the blood and the lymphatic fluid flow evenly, and also to help the fat tissue not building up.
Not building up.
Yeah, not building up. Otherwise, this is the area the fat tissue usually build up, and when the fat tissue build up, it will block the flow of the energy and blood lymphatic fluid. Alright, tonight we will continue the nail and the joint. It can tell you a lot of stuff on your nail too and your joint. Alright, thank you very much.